This is Anthony with True Diamond Heart, continuing our video series, Wake Up and Live. We started last video speaking about the personality, our personal identification, who we think we are, who we think others think we are, which all happens within here, right? We don't know what they really think, and it doesn't matter anyway. The personality, the identification, the personal identification, who we think we are, the thought self, the construct of characteristics and histories, triumphs and traumas in the past, and hopes and anxieties into the future. These things, who I identify as, the persona, my personality, being a mask. A mask, persona means mask in Greek or Latin, and it means it's a direct translation of the fact, representation of the fact that who we think we are, the persona, the personality, is a construct that struts and frets upon the stage, as Shakespeare said, strutting when things are good, fretting when things are bad. This personality is a theatrical construct that we present to ourselves first and then to other people, thinking that we're pulling something off, and all we're doing is being asleep. The personality is the identification with personality. Now, the plain English meaning, the plain word meaning of the word personality, babies, they don't have that identification, yet they're full of personality. But it's not the personality of personal identification, theatrics. It's authentic. It just springs. This plant, they all have personality, magnificent personality, but it's not the kind of personality we're talking about that's created and constructed and thought about and held together, and it's a self-image and what I'm projecting to others. It simply comes from the essence of their being. They are. The little baby is. And in that authenticity is beauty. Beauty. They don't have to hold together their beauty. They are beauty. So too are you. Beauty. You are essentially beauty. Your naked consciousness in the Garden of Eden, right? It's a Christian fable. Now, or myth. Doesn't matter if you're Christian or not. This is not a Christian teaching. It is not a Christian teaching. Christianity has magnificent lessons. They all traditions have the same lessons in different garb so that we can find the one that appeals to us. In the Garden of Eden, they were naked, without shame, without self-consciousness. That means there was no persona. They were like the leopard, like the plant, like the baby, innocent and true in their authenticity. That's the state we're looking for. That's an awakened state. Authenticity, trueness, the ability to respond and be spontaneous in the context of whatever life presents. Truly spontaneous. Now, almost everybody that thinks of themselves as spontaneous and tries to be spontaneous is, as soon as you're trying to be spontaneous, you're not spontaneous. It's another identity. Most people on the spiritual path, to a great extent, myself included for many years, identified ourselves, as spiritual. That is, in the awakening process, identifying yourself as an awakener, which is a sleepening. Right? As soon as you identify yourself as something. If you're in the spiritual path, I am in the awakening process. But as soon as I just see it as a fact and not as an identity, I'm free to notice all the things that I right now have to work with. Some of them I want, some of them I don't want, but that person that wants is the identity again. Let him or her do his or her thing. With honesty, we begin to awaken, and we begin to see that all of these things we think we are, okay, fine. You want to have a gender identification? Do it. You want to have a political identification? Do it. Just be aware of the fact that it is not the essence of who you are. It's something you've learned, because there are people with the exact same essence and the exact contrary. Some people think that your gender identification or your political identification are absolute lunacy, right? So, and they have that same essence. There's only one essence shared by all. So the fact that there's all these different opinions automatically shows that the essence is not being expressed by this identification. So we learn to let these things go, but we start where we are. So whatever identifications we have, if we start to push them down, say, no, I'm holy, I'm above that, I don't have a personality, I'm just natural and authentic and spontaneous and true and beautiful. It's another construct, it's another identification. We use the tools we've been talking about, mindfulness and meditation, in previous videos. And these things will automatically awaken. They will help us to awaken. And in our awakening, we'll reveal the authenticity and the true beauty that doesn't need to be held together, because it is. It is. Let's begin to be mindful and meditative, watching how our personalities have fooled us our whole lives. Our identification told us that we are better than or worse than, and that who we are is our opinions, our likes, our dislikes, our history, our trauma, triumphs in the past, and our anxieties and hopes in the future. We start to realize that who we are is absolutely present time, right now. Needs no energy to hold together. In fact, as soon as we let go of holding together the false persona, the true essence, all that energy is liberated, and creativity and joy and beauty and service start to increase and magnify in direct proportion to the degree that we let go of our false personalities. It's a process. Stay with us. We'll work through this together. Great, unbelievable challenge, really interesting, extremely difficult at times, and yet there's no other way to go through it. We go through, there's a video series we have on YouTube channel called Through the Darkness that might help with this, but it's all the same. It's just different ways of saying the same thing. Just find what appeals to you and start practicing it. Start actually doing it, or not doing, because the being is the power. But we have to do things to learn to stop doing, right? Because we're so conditioned. It's okay. Stay with us. We're working through this together.